They say your past never truly dies, it just waits. Mine came back in a letter with gold-embossed corners and the name Harold Trask in thick serif font. I hadn't heard that name in 34 years, not since I left that dusty corner of Nevada with a duffel bag and a baby my baby strapped across my chest. Harold wasn't her father. He wasn't mine either, but he was the only man who ever believed in me when I had no one, and now, after all this time, he was dead. The letter came from his estate lawyer. I opened it at the kitchen table while my daughter Camille was in the next room, fitting herself into the ivory silk of her wedding dress. She'd be married in 3 days. The letter said Harold had left me everything. His estate, his stocks, his land now oil-rich and quietly acquired by a tech pipeline project. Estimated value, $3.2 million. I felt the number before I even read it. It hit like ice in my lungs. There was a catch, though. The will specifically named me only. No spouse, no descendants, no redistribution, and it warned, do not disclose this gift until 6 months have passed. Harold never did anything without reason. I folded the letter. I hid it under the bread tin. Then Camille called out, "Mom, can you zip me up?" Her voice was honey-warm, but beneath it I could still hear the girl who once blamed me for everything I couldn't give her. She was marrying Dean Bennett, a charming high school history teacher who always smiled too wide and listened too little. That night, while she slept in her bridal suite, I reread the will by candlelight. I didn't tell anyone, especially not Camille, not because I didn't love her, but because I saw something behind Dean's eyes, something Harold once warned me about, a hunger that doesn't go away just because someone says I do. The wedding was flawless. Camille glowed like she was lit from within, and Dean held her hand like a man claiming property. I stayed quiet, smiling, nodding, toasting. The only one who noticed me flinch when the champagne hit my lips was the caterer's assistant, a girl no older than Camille had been when she used to crawl into my bed at night, scared of thunderstorms. 3 weeks later, we had dinner, just the 3 of us. Dean insisted on cooking risotto and sea bass, fancy for someone whose culinary talents never extended past burnt bacon. He poured wine, held Camille's waist too long, laughed too loud at his own jokes. Then he said it. So now that we're family, he smiled teeth like fence posts. We were thinking of getting our finances in order. Consolidate things. Look ahead. Camille tells me you've been very smart with money. I felt my spine tighten. Oh, I'm just getting by, I murmured careful. Camille smiled. Come on, Mom. I know you've got that little house paid off. You always save better than I could. Dean leaned in, voice low, casual like poison in tea. If you ever want help setting up a trust, or you know future planning, we're happy to assist. The air thickened. The only sound was the clink of Camille's fork. He was testing me, not asking. Testing. I gave him the blandest smile I could conjure. Thanks, Dean, but I think I'll manage. He chuckled feigned modesty. Of course, just offering. That night I barely slept. Not because of Dean, because of what I saw in Camille. She didn't blink once during that exchange. And in the hallway when I hugged her goodbye, she whispered, "You can trust him, Mom. He's not like Dad." She meant it. She believed it, which was worse, because I knew something she didn't. People like Dean never take what's offered. They wait for you to blink, then they take everything. And I had just inherited more than either of them could imagine. 3 weeks after the dinner, Camille showed up with a vanilla latte and a manila folder. It's just paperwork, she chirped. Totally boring, but Dean says it's smart to get ahead of taxes before year end. I didn't open the folder. I didn't need to. I had seen this game before, back when I worked as a receptionist at a divorce attorney's office. Women who came in crying after signing things they didn't understand, pressured by someone who called it future planning. They thought they were being practical. They were signing their futures away. I looked at my daughter, the same one I raised with scrounged coupons and second-shift jobs, who once promised at 13 that she'd take care of me when I was old. "You read this?" I asked. She hesitated. Dean explained it. "That's not what I asked." Her smile faltered. "Why are you being like this?" I snapped. "Because I'm not stupid, Camille. That's why." Her eyes narrowed ice, suddenly under all that bridal shimmer. "You think I'd let him take advantage of you?" "No," I said. "I think you already have." Her mouth opened like I slapped her. I took the folder unopened and slid it back into her arms. "If you ever bring me something like this again, I won't answer the door." She left without hugging me. I stood there shaking, not from guilt, From fury, not just at Dean, at her. She let him come between us. She invited him into the space where once only mother and daughter lived. I wasn't mourning the money. I was mourning what had already been stolen trust. I pulled out Harold's letter again from beneath the bread tin. "Don't disclose this gift," it read, "until 6 months have passed." I understood now. He wasn't protecting the money. He was protecting me. And I was about to find out just how badly I needed it. I didn't hear from Camille for 4 days. On the 5th, I received a voicemail. Her voice was breathless, pinched. "Hey, Mom, I'm sorry. Dean, he thinks you're still mad. I told him not to push. Okay, I did. Anyway, can we come over for dinner this week? I miss you." She hung up before saying, "Love you." I called back. No answer. That night I parked outside their condo. The lights were on, shades drawn. I saw their silhouettes in the kitchen. Camille rinsing plates, Dean pacing with a phone in hand. He wasn't talking, just scrolling. I watched him. His body moved with a kind of caged energy, tightly coiled. Then suddenly he turned, snapped something at Camille. She flinched, dropped a dish. I sat frozen in my car, heart pounding. I didn't go to the door. I drove home in silence. Next morning, my bank sent an automated notification. An inquiry was made into your closed 2011 Roth IRA account. If this was not you, please call. I hadn't touched that account in years. It was empty, closed, irrelevant, except Camille once knew about it, back when she helped me set up online banking. I called the fraud line. They traced the request to an IP from Dean's school district. It wasn't Camille. It was him. And now I knew something for sure. He wasn't just sniffing. He was hunting, and he was using my daughter to bait me. I opened a new encrypted folder on my laptop. I titled it Inside. I uploaded a forged PDF titled Inheritance Breakdown, Active Trusts. I paid a freelance paralegal to make it look real. It showed a $450K estate, plausible but modest. I encrypted it under Camille's childhood pet's name, just obvious enough. Then I left my laptop on the kitchen table the next time they visited. I went to stir the soup. Dean offered to help set the table, and when I returned, the screen was dark, but the keyboard was warm. It was Camille who called this time. Her voice was tight, brittle, like a guitar string stretched too far. "I just need to ask," she said. "Why did you lie to me?" I stood still. My hands were damp from the dishwater. "About what? About the inheritance. The trust," she snapped. "I saw the file on your laptop. You've had money this whole time. Real money. You told me you were just scraping by." The words punched through me, but what she said next shattered something. "Dean said you've been testing us, that you don't trust either of us, that maybe you never have." I dropped the dish. It cracked in the sink. "I've been trusting you," I said, barely audible, "since you were born." She didn't answer right away. "Then why hide it? Because I saw how he looks at you, at me, at anything that isn't his, and because you let him into places you used to keep just for me?" Silence. "Then Dean thinks we should take space. Maybe. Reevaluate the relationship." I blinked. "Hours. He says the money changed you." It wasn't just the words. It was the way she said Dean says, like it was scripture. Like his voice mattered more than mine. I sank into the chair at my kitchen table. For the first time in years I cried, not because I lost her, but because I chose her, over and over. I had swallowed bills, broken my back, skipped dinners to feed her, and now she believed him. The next day, a call came from the notary's office downtown. "We received a request to add a secondary power of attorney to your file," the woman said politely. I sat up. "Excuse me, Mr. Dean?" "Bennett called claiming to be your financial proxy. He said you'd given verbal consent." I didn't scream. I didn't curse. I just said that man is not authorized to do anything in my name. After I hung up, I looked around my quiet kitchen. This wasn't just about inheritance anymore. Dean wanted legal access to everything, and my daughter was helping him do it. There was no more waiting. It was time for a controlled fire, the kind that burns clean. The idea came while watching reruns of Columbo. One line, stuck. People who think they're smarter than everyone else always leave footprints. Dean left footprints. He just didn't know it yet. I dug into Camille's wedding video folder, the one she'd shared, via Google Drive. Buried in the behind-the-scenes reel was a grainy clip, Dean, 2 groomsmen, and a bottle of bourbon on the balcony. One guy joked, "Married rich." Dean laughed. "She thinks it's love, but the real prize her mom's loaded. Old lady's been sitting on money for years." Watch me crack that vault." He winked, held up his glass. I paused it there, face frozen mid-smirk. That was all I needed. I sent the clip to a woman named Olivia Harold's old lawyer, the one who handled his oil rights when he was alive. She still remembered me. Within 24 hours, we had a package, a cease and desist letter, a digital forensics report tracing Dean's login attempt on my old IRA, and a printed transcript of the wedding video, but that was just the beginning. I called Camille. "Come alone," I said. "Just you." She did. I told her everything, the fake file, the login trace, the power of attorney scam. And finally, the video. She watched it in silence. No tears, no denials, just a hollow voice. He said, "It was a joke." I slid the transcript to her. "This joke could have given him access to every account in my name. He knew you'd defend him, and he used that like a weapon." She didn't speak. Her hand shook as she scrolled through the emails Olivia had printed. Bank access attempts, IP traces, metadata timestamps. Then she looked at me and whispered, "What do I do?" I answered carefully, "You take back your name." 3 days later, we sat across from Dean in a lawyer's office. Camille's spine was straight, her tone surgical. "You will sign this annulment. You will walk away from me, my family, and my mother's estate. If you resist, we release the video." Dean's face was a portrait of disbelief. "You're bluffing." Olivia dropped the manila folder between them. "Then sue us. But know this, we've already contacted the school board. One call, and your career's a headline." He signed, no protest, no speech. Camille didn't watch him leave. When the door clicked shut, she exhaled like she hadn't breathed in weeks. She looked at me finally, tired, angry, but safe, and finally free. Weeks passed. The house felt different, lighter. Camille started visiting again. At first just for tea, then dinner, then entire weekends barefoot in the kitchen like she was 20 again. One Sunday she helped me fold laundry and suddenly asked, "Was it true I looked up? Was what true?" She hesitated. "That you were only left $450,000. I smiled. "What do you think?" She tilted her head, cautious. "I think you planted that number on purpose." I said nothing. She reached across the table. "I want you to know I'm not here for money. I'm here because I forgot who you were." I blinked back, a sting in my eyes. "You remembered in time," I whispered. Later that week, I took her to Harold's land. The desert air shimmered like glass. The oil rigs in the distance hummed like metal insects. "This is where it came from," I said. "Harold took me in when I was 19, broke, and one mistake away from living on the street." Camille stood in silence. "This isn't about oil," I continued. "It's about legacy and choice. I hid this because I didn't want you to inherit fear or greed. I wanted you to inherit strength." She looked at me, tears slipping quietly. "I don't deserve it." "You didn't have to," I said, placing the deed in her hand. "You earned it when you walked away from him." That night, over lemon pie and old jazz records, Camille rested her head on my shoulder. "What happens next?" she asked. I smiled. "Next, we write new papers. Together. No secrets." She nodded. "I want to start over," she said. "Not just with you, with myself." And for the first time in years, I felt at peace, not just for me, for us. Harold's money bought silence. But Camille's return, that was the real inheritance, one I never thought I'd get back. But I did, and this time I wouldn't hide a single cent of it. If this story hit a nerve, you're not alone. So many mothers, grandmothers, and women out there have hidden silent wars behind kitchen doors and wedding veils. What would you have done if you were her? Leave a comment. Your story could be the one that helps someone else wake up. Subscribe for more true story thrillers like this, where the quiet ones fight back and secrets never stay buried. And remember, sometimes protecting your legacy means protecting your peace.